Welcome, everyone. I am Opiate, and this is OP Gaming. Today we're taking a look at the re-release of Myst, a graphic adventure puzzle game from the minds of Robin and Rand Miller, and the developers at Cyan. Now, I vaguely remember trying to play this game multiple times in my life, but never really having the patience for it. Honestly, I think I've probably started it a dozen times since its original release in 1993. And now that I've completed it without help and seen all the endings, I'm pretty bitter that I never gave it a real chance. I mean, this game was ahead of its time. I remember the guy behind the counter at the game store telling me how hard it was, that he couldn't beat it, and he thought I should try something else. What a turd. So you start on this island with no real knowledge of how you ended up there. Looking at the cover brings back memories of wondering what it might be like to fall into a deserted island that is full of puzzles, because we all know that's what you do on a deserted island: create puzzles. Now, originally this game was a point and click. You had to click to get from scene to scene, then try to move the mouse around until you found something you could use. It's nice they updated it. I'm not sure a point and click would really sell anymore. And the original graphics were amazing too. I mean, back then it was closer to a picture, but it was a really pretty picture. Now that the game is full motion, they've spared no detail in bringing the island to life. The lighting, the shadows, all the things that are interactive are all expertly done. Every turn, every point of interest is all done with care and intent. Now, this is a puzzle game, one that I consider to be the grandfather of everyone after it. Every Portal, every Stanley Parable, every Talos Principle wouldn't be as interesting if Myst hadn't shown that there was a desire in the collective community for a real puzzle game. Now, that being said, because this is solely a puzzle game, there is a lot of room for error. With little else to judge, the content of the puzzle becomes the focal point, so it's easy to see how some of the content is artificially drawn out. There are points when the concept of walking seems like an unnecessary hurdle that gets in the way of the flow of things. At a point fairly early on, I decided to try to mitigate the walking simulator by just writing things down as I came across them. Now, I would normally consider that cheating, but it honestly felt like a real-world puzzle trying to find a pen and paper. I mean, seriously, when's the last time you wrote anything down? Now, that being said, some of the walking is tedious, even with a notepad. However, considering the limitation of the 90s, there was a limit to how much of a game a company could expect to fit onto a compact disc. The walking around, the traversing of levels, almost needs to be there. Some of the things that you need to remember on your walk aren't things you can write down either, which leads to the walk itself adding to the difficulty. And the difficulty is another topic that is probably discussed a ton in the development room. I personally never wanted to quit, so it wasn't impossibly difficult. Truthfully, everything you need is in the environment. You just need to reason it out. Why does it allow me to change the number on this panel? Why does the dial move? What could the purpose of this thing that rotates actually be? All in all, this game took around 5 hours to finish, including kind of cheating with the saving and loading to see all 4 endings. In those 5 hours, I think I got stuck enough to walk away once. But with my handy dandy pen and paper to map the train tunnel, I was finished almost too quick, which is ironic considering during a couple of the puzzle I was cursing at how long it was taking to walk around. I mean, it kind of brings up a bigger question about how someone decides on the difficulty of a puzzle and whether it makes more sense to scale up on harder reasoning or stretching out the delay between problem and solution. But I digress. Overall, I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10. This is exactly what I was hoping the game would be. Every time I picked the case up to look at the picture and imagine what it would be like to wake up on a magical island. Although there are a couple of times that the puzzles seem unnecessarily elongated, the scope of the island and the things needed to achieve your goals is much easier to grasp today than it was in 1993. And at 5 hours, you owe it to yourself to at least give this classic a look. With any luck, they'll finish the series and update the whole franchise. Below you'll find all the links to all the things: the dev page, Steam page, GOG page, music, and my Twitch, in case you want to drop by and hang out in real time. As always, I am Opiate. Thanks for stopping by.